It's time for another trailer week because Lucasfilm dropped a kinda spoilerific new trailer for Star Wars Episode 8. A far cry from the vague teasers we got for the last movie, it seems like this time around they're giving away quite a bit about what we can expect from the middle entry of the new trilogy. Granted, most of it is pretty predictable, but if you want to go in blind this December, you best try to avoid this, assuming that's even possible. And Star Wars wasn't the only big trailer coming out this week. 20th Century Fox released a first look at the new Mutants. A far cry from the next generation of X-Men, it looks like this movie is going to put our favorite X-babies in a possibly haunted asylum. Coming off as more of a horror movie than a superhero flick, it'll be interesting to see what and how much is pulled from the comics. Rumor has it that the movie is drawing heavily from the Demon Bear storyline, but there's no sign of a bear in the trailer. Many of the spooky scenes we see could be the result of a supernatural entity, but there's also Dani Moonstone, whose powers is to manifest people's fears, so maybe she's actually behind the whole thing. Or, heck, it could be both. And hey, one more holdover from the New York Comic-Con, Matt Ryan is lending his voice to John Constantine again in a new animated series for CW Seed. Presumably set in the same universe as the live-action CW shows, this will probably be a relatively short series consisting of a half dozen or so 10-minute episodes, but hey, you take your Constantine where you can get it. Rumor has it that Ryan may also be making a live-action cameo in this season's Legends of Tomorrow, so keep that hope for renewal of his show going. And if you're looking for a place to watch all your digital movies, Disney might just have the answer for you. This week, Disney relaunched their Disney Movies Anywhere service as just Movies Anywhere. Teaming up with 20th Century Fox, Sony Pictures, Universal Pictures, and Warner Bros., the new service will allow you to link your Disney account with accounts from Vudu, Google, iTunes, and Amazon, letting you watch most, but not all, of your digital movies in one place. Moving over to comic news, new details about the future of Sonic the Hedgehog were also revealed at the New York Comic Con. The Sonic comic book series has been in rough waters all year as Archie Comics abruptly put the book on hiatus until it was officially announced that Sega had pulled the Sonic license away from the company. A short time later, at the San Diego Comic Con, it was announced that IDW Publishing would be taking over the license with a new book launching in 2018. Very little has been revealed about the book since then, particularly regarding how much the book will be connected to the previous 24 years worth of comics. While those questions have yet to be completely answered, it was revealed this week that Flynn, who's been the lead writer for Sonic since 2006, will continue writing the series under the IDW banner. Whether Flynn will be allowed to continue where he left off is still up in the air, but at the very least the book will have a continuity of talent moving forward. Heading into releases, this week in theaters we have The Snowman. Starring Michael Fassbender, this movie sadly isn't about an actual murderous snowman, but a serial killer with a fixation on winter games. And if that's not enough weather-related horror for you, there's Geostorm. When weather-controlling satellites run amok and create a global disaster, Gerard Butler has to go up into space to stop them while Abby Cornish kidnaps the president to get his weather codes. I cannot believe that this is a real movie. Alright, over on television, Star Wars Rebels is back this week for its fourth and final season on Disney XD. The show hasn't been shy about going dark, so we'll have to see who makes it through to the end. Over on Hulu, there's the second season of Freakish, a show I'd not heard of before, but it looks like a pretty standard zombie outbreak scenario. And on Sci-Fi this week is the series premiere of Superstition, a show about a family that runs a funeral parlor and fights the forces of evil. It's basically a supernatural knockoff, but that's fine, and if you don't want to wait for the premiere, the pilot episode is up on YouTube already. Over in video games, hitting Steam this week is Rosenkreutz whatever. It's Mega Man with anime witch girls. The first one must have done well because it's getting a sequel with a few other obvious video game references mixed in. Meanwhile, Mad Age in this guy seems to be a steampunk-themed Bomberman, if that's up your alley, and for more retro fun, Foxyland is a Super NES-style platformer about a fox collecting cherries and jewels while on a quest to save his lady friend from an eagle. For something more modern, Elix is a neat-looking third-person adventure game set in a sci-fi fantasy world, and the big release for this week has to be South Park: The Fractured But Whole. Lampooning the superhero movie genre this time around, the RPG is adding some technical elements to the mix, but let's face it, you probably are just playing for the story. Freaky Awesome is an odd-looking roguelite that puts you in the role of a constantly mutating guy killing other mutants in the sewer for some reason, and In the Shadows is yet another neat-looking puzzle platformer where the light is the primary game mechanic. Meanwhile, over on the Nintendo Switch, Fire Emblem Warriors brings all the heroes from across the Fire Emblem universe together for some Dynasty Warriors-style fighting. Wrapping things up with this week's CGBros video, we have The Legend of Rurik by ESMA. I'm a simple guy, I see Viking fighting a dragon, and I share the Viking fighting a dragon. And that leaves us with this week's awesome video. Team 4-Star released Episode 8 of Hellsing Ultimate Abridged, and if you haven't been watching this series, now is a great time to binge it.
Guys, I don't want to jinx it, but I think we got this.
That's everything for this week, so what do you think about Episode 8's Porgs? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, pass this video around to your friends, and have a great week!